old Sammy Hagar tunes like Lover Money, Baby's on Fire, Shaka Doobie, Rock and Roll Weekend, Turn Up the Music. What else did he do? Your Love is Driving Me Crazy, Marching to Mars, even did a cover of the Beastie Boys' Fight for Your Right to Party. We did Man in the Box with Jerry Cantrell. So sounds like it was really good. I wish someone would put out a live album or a box set of the birthday bashes from Cabo, because there's all kinds of stuff he plays there that he never plays. Those songs I just listed, he never plays that stuff in concert. He always plays the same stuff with Mas Tequila, I Can't Drive 55, One Way to Rock. Like, this is all great, but he never gets into those deep cuts. I love all that stuff. I wish someone would put out a box set, or you don't even have to do a box set. Just put it up on Spotify and iTunes. Just like,
right, yeah.
What does it cost? It's like nothing to do, even if you just keep it digital. But I saw that set list and I was like, oh man, I would love to see that, So, what do you make of the birthday bash this year and him reuniting with the Wabos?
Well, that's always nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, the set list, he was really digging deep into the closet. I mean, he was doing some Capitol songs.
I know.
And I'm like, wow, he rarely does that anymore. So I was super stoked to see him doing some really old school 70s Sammy. That was nice to see.
Absolutely.
Nice.
I love that stuff, and that's the stuff I want to hear. So now our friend Greg Renoff, Dave, he is finally coming out of his hole. He has been buried away, working. So he's the author of Van Halen Rising, and he's releasing his new book, Ted Templeman, A Platinum Producer's Life and Music, on April 21st, and it is now available for pre-orders on Amazon.com for $19.95. The book chronicles Ted's work with VH as well as his work with Doobie Brothers, Van Morrison, Nicolette Larson. Remember, fun fact, Dave, what is Nicolette Larson from? Do you remember?
Oh, she, Ed played a solo on her, on one of her albums, right?
And one other thing?
Oh, and she was the background vocalist on, wait, give me a second. She was a background vocalist on the Women and Children First album.
Right. Do you remember which song?
It was the acoustic one.
Right.
I'm going to say Women and Children First, but that's not the name of the song.
No. All right. I'm going to give you a little hint. I'm going to give you a couple of lines.
I know the song, and I'm embarrassingly drawing a blank right now because it's getting late.
Because you're an old man. And,
yes.
And so listen, I'm going to say a couple of lyrics, and you tell me.
No, I know the lyrics. I just can't remember the title.
You know the lyrics?
Well, just embarrass me and tell me the title of the song.
Dave goes, and she said, and they go right into the chorus, and she sings on the chorus.
Right.
And she said, could this be magic?
That's the name of it. Sorry, drawing a blank.
That's all right. Dave's an old man. That's okay.
I'm an older man.
You're an older man. That's right. So, on to Ed's tweet. Now, what is this mysterious tweet that Ed did? This is before we saw the pictures of him at Tool and buying the car and all this stuff. So, he tweeted out about this girl's cover of Running with the Devil, this girl Jennifer Hope. And he says, I was blown away. It's a very powerful, unique approach, and I couldn't have done it better myself. So I was like, yeah, you did. You did it in 1978 on Van Halen 1. So the weird part is that it's a cover of Running with the Devil, and this is a clip of it right here.
I found a simple life ain't so simple. When I jumped out on that road, I got no love you'd call real. Ain't got nobody waiting at home. Running with the devil.
and it is a dark, slow, dramatic version of Running with the Devil. It sort of drags, and the power of the song is sapped. However, Ed seemed to like it. So what did you make of this?
Interesting cover. I mean, unique rearrangement of the song, but not my cup of tea.
Right. Well, we're going to wrap up Van Halen news with a light and fluffy little piece of news here that the Van Halen store has Van Halen socks for sale. Get a pair for $11.95 at vanhalenstore.com. It's black with the 1982 Lion Tour logo on it. They're unisex, 80% cotton, 17% polyester, and 3% spandex. They fit a men's shoe, size 5 to 11. So get them while they're hot, Dave. Stocking stuffer, literally.
Absolutely. So, Jeff, you're welcome for the free plug. You got my address. Send me some socks.
Exactly. How about a couple of pairs, Jeff? How about a couple of pairs? My feet are freezing.
But they are cool-looking socks.
They are cool-looking socks. They are.
Yes.
So that wraps up Van Halen news.
And that's the way it is. Good night.
And we have lots of stuff this month. So because it's Dave's birthday month, and it's also Sam's birthday month, so we're just going to wish Sam here happy birthday to the Red Rocker. Since it's Dave's birthday month, we're focusing a little bit on Dave here. We're doing the dark days of David Lee Roth. Now, what the hell is that? Well, Dave and I analyze two different periods in Dave's career where things were really getting thin. And we're not talking about his hair. We're talking about 1995 and 2006. Two times when things were really running on E for Mr. Roth. So we're going to examine those periods. That's when Dave was doing his first Vegas stint in 1995 with the nonstop blues-busted Mambo Slammers. And then we talk about his time on radio in 2006 on K-Rock. And we also get into Strumming with the Devil. Oh, the dark days of David Lee Roth. So we're going to get into that time and examine that whole period. Then we have an interview with one of Dave's drummers, Ron Wikso, who was on the Your Filthy Little Mouth tour. We get a whole interview with him. But before all that happens, Dave, it's time for mailbag. And we got a nice sack because Dave loves a large sack. But he's going to be sticking a fork in my ass because we all know Dave likes them short. I trimmed up the mailbag for you, Dave, big time. So we should be nice and tight. We're trying to get real good on the mailbag. And that's all coming up next. Take a listen.
Well, you got to plan ahead. And also, you know, if you don't place yourself geographically, if you don't go out there, what are you going to sing about? Again, you know, you can join the Keith Richards fan club. Those are the rule rather than the exception. Don't get me wrong, you know, I just get up a little earlier so we can accomplish as much as we can dream up and still drink the beer that my body needs, right?
If you need a dose of VH, get a taste of the closest thing. Romeo Delight, the ultimate Van Halen tribute band, playing all the hits from the David Lee Roth era, first classic 6 albums, plus deep cuts, some of which have never been played live before by the band. They even throw in popular tracks from the Sammy Hagar era and solo hits. The most viewed Van Halen tribute band on YouTube, Romeo Delight, doing customized recreations of staging, instruments, and costumes from the classic Van Halen era. They even perform entire Van Halen albums in sequence. Romeo Delight plays theaters, casinos, summer indoor and outdoor festivals, and special events. They're also available for private parties. To contact them, call Bud Blanche at 215-704-5144. That's 215-704-5144. Or via email at sonicparade1@yahoo.com. Romeo Delight, the ultimate Van Halen tribute band.
This is Randy Bachman of BTO on the Guess Who. You're listening to Dave and Dave Unchained.
Check out the new podcast, The Rock Quarry, your place to hear in-depth interviews with some of rock's most colorful characters, with your host, entertainment journalist David J. Criblay. The Rock Quarry is available for free on Spreaker and iTunes. You can check us out on Facebook at The Rock Quarry Podcast, on Twitter at Rock Quarry Pod, on Instagram at The Rock Quarry Podcast. or email us at therockquarrypodcast@gmail.com.
Family. I'm a very family-oriented kind of guy. I personally started 3 or 4 in 1983, and we'll be carrying on that tradition all the way through 84.
All right, Dave, you know what time it is.
It's time for the mailbag.
Woo! Swing your partners. All right, that's right. It is time for the mailbag. It's mailbag time again. And, we got a boatload here, that's for sure. But I want Dave to know that I am slicing and dicing because you guys have been writing way too freaking long. And we all know that Dave gets edgy when he does that. So we're going right ahead. And we're starting with Paul Davis. And Paul says, loving the podcast. And I'll be at the January 11th DLR Vegas show. It would be great to meet you guys. You should do a pre or post show meetup for us podcast West Coasters. I got inspired by your podcast and rocked my new Eddie Van Halen golf pants recently at a tournament. They sent us a picture of that. Do you have a favorite bootleg from the 5150 tour? I saw them on November 2nd, 1986 at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. Thanks, and I will see you in Vegas in January. Paul Davis. Well, Dave, I think that is a good idea. What do you think of Paul's idea that we should hold a meetup in Vegas if fans are going to be there?
I like that a lot. I mean, something informal, like, we meet up at a bar or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But I am all for that, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That sounds
Absolutely.
great. I remember Dave said, I think it was a couple nights ago when we were recording, he said he's buying. So everybody, we're gonna run on Dave's expense account, and we're just gonna have come on down, come one, come all. You know what? Order the lobster. Why not? Let's have a ball. And it's Dave is being so generous. He's excited. Now that he's turning 50, he's creaking open the wallet, and he's gonna start spending a couple of bats will fly out of there, and you'll see him drop some major cash. Remember what I said on the other podcast episode that when Dave opens his wallet, the middle part where Vincent Price talks on Thriller starts playing. Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. So we are on to letter number 2, and that comes from Rob Edwards. And he says, I just want to tell you guys what an enjoyable podcast you have, and Van Halen has always been my favorite band, both eras. I prefer Roth, but I grew up on the Sammy era. Great topics and great discussion. Oh, that's very nice of you. I'll consume it as long as you keep putting it out. Keep up the good work, Rob Edwards from Kentucky. And that was so nice of him, and I want to thank him so much for that. And,
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, very nice, and that was really cool for him to do, and just a nice little comment there. And we are on to letter number 3. Comes from a man by the name of Jason from Nashville. And he says, I discovered a recording that I never knew existed. It's Eddie playing on a cover of Jimi Hendrix tune If 6 Was 9. It's on an album by LA musician, keyboardist, session player David Garfield. This version was first released on Garfield's Jeff Porcaro tribute from 1997. On this version, Apple and Spotify list Garfield, Michael Landau, Will Lee, and Simon Phillips all playing on it, but not Ed. However, the same version of the song, to my ears anyway, appears on the David Garfield and Friends 2005 album called The State of Things. On Apple and Spotify, it shows Ed playing on it and not Landau. So my question is that indeed Ed playing on it, or are they both playing on it? Why the discrepancy? Also of note, the Jeff Porcaro tribute, Ed plays on the track It Takes a Lot to Laugh, and It Takes a Train to Cry. And the lead guitar on this track definitely has Eddie written all over it, but again, he's not officially credited on it. But it's definitely him. And he wanted to know what the hell's going on. Jason in Nashville. So I cut that back because Jason, he went on and on. I have to say, Jason, Ed is on that. We've discussed that before in one of our former podcasts. In fact, I think it was January of 2018, I think it was, when we talked about for Ed's birthday. But one thing I have found, that Spotify and Apple are not very accurate with their liner notes. If you want to check the actual CD, Ed is on there. And like I said, we've discussed that before. What do you say to that, Dave?
Yeah, Ed definitely played on both those songs.
Right.
Without a doubt.
Right.